Hey, hi, this is Pranjal. Learning any software can be hard. Every software comes with its own learning curve, right? But Figma is different. I've been using design tools for last 8 years and Figma seems to be one of the easiest design tool available out there. So how can we get started? Well, all you have to do is just browse into Figma's official website and create a free account. So you can use your already existing Google account and use social sign-in, or you can use any of the email ID that you want to use. I already have my account, so I won't log in again. Now, there are two ways to access Figma. The first one is through their official web application. So you can just log in into Figma and you'll be redirected to their web application. And you can access it through all of the browsers available. Now the second way, and my personal preferred way, is downloading the software locally. Even though there are zero feature difference and whatever you will be creating will be stored in the cloud, I personally feel a little bit more productive when I'm using the desktop application. Well, again, there's zero feature difference, so you can choose your own. The desktop application is available both for macOS as well as Windows, so you can download the version of your choice. So once you have downloaded your application and logged in, you will be redirected to this page. You can create multiple teams available. This is a team that I have recently created for this tutorial, and under any team you can create multiple projects, and creating a project is super mandatory to create designs further. So let's go ahead and create a project named Figma tutorial. You can also invite your friends in here to collaborate in your designs, but we'll go ahead and just create a project. The free version of Figma comes with a couple of limitations. That is, you can already have 3 design files and 3 FigJam boards. All we need is design files for now. So let's go ahead and create our first design file. You will notice the design file or the design screen consists of 4 important parts. The left sidebar, it consists of all of the different design layers that we will be creating throughout, right? And this is also as per hierarchy. So now that I have grouped it, you'll notice that this has created some hierarchy. But we'll discuss this grouping and the other best practices a little bit later. For now, we'll create a very simple design for someone just getting started. So let's delete it. As I create any rectangle, using the rectangle tool from the toolbar, you'll notice there are a couple of properties that is associated with the rectangle tool. These are positions, where you can change position of the rectangle, or you can rotate it further. You can also change the width and height of the rectangle. Now this is also possible just by selecting the rectangle or going to the edge of rectangle and changing the width or height of the rectangle. Also, this 4 dots can be used to change the radius as well. So everything that can be done from here can be done from here as well. It's just that it gives you a little bit more very fine number control that might be required when you're working on project and you want to have a very consistent design overall. You can change the opacity and radius again. You can also change the color of rectangle. So for now we have created white. You can also change n number of you can change to any of your desired colors. The next one is stroke. So this gives you capability to draw strokes and also increase the width of it. This looks nice. Let's make it a little square. So we'll change the width and height to 300 pixels and we'll remove the rotation. Now that's a perfect square. So as you notice, we just use a custom shape tool to create this rectangle. If you click on this button, you'll see there are a lot more different shapes available. So let's select an ellipse. I try to make it a perfect circle and we'll remove fill from here and we'll add a stroke. We can also increase the width of stroke and we can change color of stroke. Now I want to give it the same color as of the stroke of the square. So I'll just use the color picker tool and select this. Awesome. Now you'll notice we have 2 design elements in here and these are also listed here. Well, this, there are a lot of properties that is available when, we are creating design under a canvas or under a frame. Well, now we have a ellipse and a square. What I want to do is I want to create an emoji. So there's another tool in here, that is the pen tool. So we'll use the pen tool. You can also use pencil, by the way, because this is some really simple design. And we'll create a emoji. Well, pardon, but yeah, we have a emoji. You can also change the color and other details of the custom shape that we have created. And you'll notice all of this again is listed in here. So everything that you'll be creating in this infinite canvas, and again notice this is what it is called, the infinite canvas. And the reason is that this Figma is super forgiving in, the number of designs you can create in this canvas. So we have all of it together. Now what I want to do is I want to group all of this together so that whenever I change position of this emoji, it does not, like if I do it now, it will just move the individual parts. I don't want that. I want that whenever I move the emoji, I want it to be as a single entity. So I can just select all of it using shift. Now that I have selected all of different elements that I want to group, I can use Command G or Control G in case of Windows. Now you can see this came as a group. I can name it as emoji. And this is our background rectangle. So I can move this wherever I want. I can move this out of the square as well. And this is all fine, by the way. So what I'll do is I'll just select both of it. And I just want to make sure that, the emoji is completely center aligned. So I can make use of the snapping tools available here. And I will snap it to the center. Now this was possible because I selected both the designs and this basically came as a reference to, how we want to align. So everything that we will create in here, let's say if I create this and if I select this both and hit on center, it will align as per this. So just selecting the reference point helps Figma recognize the frame of alignment. Well, I can also group all of this together, right? So that this comes as one single design. And voila, we have our first design ready. So now that we have it ready, we can either scale it a bit. Scaling again is super easy. Either you can use the scale tool that is already present, or you can press shift. You can just drag and drop the design, right? So it will change the size accordingly. Now that we have our design ready, let's just export it as a PNG. So all you have to do is just select the design file and then click on export. You will notice there are a few different options available in here. So I can choose a JPEG image. I can select SVG or a PDF. I want a PNG and then I can change the size of it. So right now it is in 1x. That means that it will give us the exact width and height as we have selected in here. But I can also choose it to be twice the size of this. And that is fine because everything that we have created here is vector. That means we can scale it as big as we want and there would not be any blurry pixels in the final So we can just export this and click on save. And voila, we have our first design ready. So yeah, designing in Figma is super easy. Well, in this tutorial, we didn't take care of some of the most important best practices for designing any file. That means in using frame to design and a lot of other best practices available. So in next video, we'll be discussing how you can, keep your design very much maintained, very much organized and create some of the best designs possible. So thank you so much guys. Be with me in the tutorial series and over the time, you'll be learning a lot of different tricks and hacks on how you can design some really good designs. Bye.